Hey, welcome everyone to Mecum in the Morning here at the State Farm Stadium. I'm at Avery. I'm being joined by Laurette, Nicoll, and Nicoll. She says, man, I'm already forgetting your name.
No, it's all right. It's all good.
But if I had a nickel for every time I
see, that's all you have to remember. Yep.
Well, we're so glad that you've joined us here, man. There's some serious desert heat going on, Laurette, both outside and also inside here with the auction block.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, do you guys know the temperature of the surface of the sun? Because it is equal to that in Glendale, Arizona, Matt. I'm just going to say that. But we have a lot of really great things that are about to cross the auction block.
Yeah, we sure do. You know, Mecum Glendale is already underway. This is just day one of Mecum in the Morning, but we've already had a couple really exciting days of auction action, and we've got another incredible lineup for today. We've got 53 pieces of road art that are going to be crossing the block here in Arizona. That also includes 346 collector vehicles, and that also contains 5 collections. We're going to be here through the 21st on Saturday. It's just going to keep getting bigger and better, Laurette. Outside, we've got the Kids Adventure Zone. There's just so much going on out here. And while it is a little warm outside, we've got tents, and of course, when you come inside this stadium, it's awesome. I feel like there's already an energy. It's building. It's nice and quiet. It's going to get loud real soon.
Yeah, it's fun. And, you know, we got to see a lot of people coming in a little bit early. They've been lining up the doors. They're ready to join us. So many great cars. I honestly was expecting, being in Arizona, we were going to have a lot of pickup trucks. But that's not actually the case. We have a really wide variety. But before we get into that, before we get into what's here in Arizona, we have big news, Matt. Big news that I'm so excited about for September.
Yeah, we really do, Laurette. And it's so exciting to actually kind of be breaking it here on Mecum in the Morning. It's a brand new location.
Yeah, absolutely. So Nashville, Tennessee, guys. Mecum is now taking that over. Of course, it's known for Nashville hot chicken and Tennessee whiskey and bourbon, boot, scoot, and boogie. But now it's going to be Mecum Auctions, September 23rd to the 26th.
I just question real quick.
Yeah.
Is Nashville known for Nashville hot chicken?
Yeah.
Yes,
absolutely.
I think Nashville's known for hot chicken, and then.
Okay, so French onion soup when you go to France. I get it, okay? But
I just clarify.
Listen, since we're sitting here in Matt just got nervous.
No, I was.
But yes, you get to have you get to have hot chicken in Nashville.
Right, which makes it
Nashville hot chicken.
There we go. Got it.
Glad we
I just
clarified
didn't want to order it wrong and be like, hey, I'm in Nashville. I'd like the Nashville hot chicken. Have them be like, sir, you're in Nashville.
You should try it anyway. Okay. See what rocks for them when you're there.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh well, I will have lots of Nashville hot chicken, of course, down in Tennessee. But we were so excited. You know, we really do stay on the go, on the move, Laurette, from coast to coast. You know, likely wherever you're at, you're within a couple hours of an auction of a Mecum event to come experience. And we're so excited to be adding this Nashville event to the lineup at the Nashville Super Speedway. I've had the chance to be there a couple times, partly because of the Hot Rod Power Tour has been a stop there. It's a beautiful facility, so much room there. And we can't even reveal some of the details, but there's a lot of exciting things in the works that's going to make it a must-attend event for collectors, for enthusiasts, for family, for friends. It's going to be awesome. And also, I think the fall is one of the best times to be in that part of the country.
Yeah, for sure. So being in central eastern Tennessee, we get to introduce Mecum Auctions to a brand new audience. And being at the Super Speedway, Matt, there are so many ideas, to your point, that are, you know, people are noodling about and trying to make happen, that it's going to be such an amazing interactive event. There's some big things that are coming down the pipeline, and it's going to be a blast.
So if you want to find out more, you can head over to mecum.com. We already have the auction landing page up with some of the details there. Yep. And then certainly as we get closer, we'll start to announce some of the consignments that are going to be there, the collections. But I'm just super stoked. It's going to be awesome. And I know that you will want to be a part of the first of many Mecum Nashville auctions there in Tennessee. Yeah. But getting back here to what's going on in Glendale, nice shirt, by the way.
Oh, thanks.
Super cool.
I know, I love the blue, and I love this shirt. I think it's so fun, and the T-shirt is absolutely perfect for the hot heat here in Arizona. But there was a new shirt that was released for Glendale.
Yeah, there is. Down at the Mecum shop, we've got the event exclusive tee I think this design is just so cool. It's retro. It's got that great deuce coupe rolling out into the desert. And you can, of course, find it when you come on site. But also we have some of the other event exclusive tees like that 250 GTO that sold at Mecum Kissimmee in January. Lots of Mecum gear to stock up on. It's if you haven't shopped for a while, or even if you have, we always have new stuff. We've got the baseball tee that I know that debuted also at Kissimmee. And then, of course, also be sure to check out the Mecum shop online as well. And also some of the die-casts. Lots of cool stuff down there.
Yeah, so many good things. And so many good things have already been happening this year. And we were just in Vegas for the last auction with our good friend Johnny Lewis.
From the heart of Las Vegas, the 35th annual Mecum Motorcycle Auction roared into the South Point Casino. If you missed this year's auction, don't worry, we'll get you up to speed. With more than 2,000 motorcycles crossing the block, this was two wheels at its absolute best, turning Las Vegas into the epicenter of motorcycle history, performance, and passion once again. Each day, Laurette, Nicoll, Matt Avery, and myself, Johnny Lewis, were on the front and center connecting with guests, collectors, builders, and even race team owners, bringing you an inside stories that makes this auction unlike any other. We kicked off things by spotlighting a jaw-dropping mega collection, a once-in-a-lifetime lineup that would stop anybody in their tracks. From there, incredible motorcycles that you could take home for under $10,000. Proof that there's something for every rider and every budget. Laurette met a monster of a motorcycle, a XR 750 nitro methane powered hill climber, pushing the limits and redefining what two wheels can do when grit meets horsepower. I sat down with Tim Essison to talk about his collection, racing, roots, and what it takes to compete at the highest level, on the track or here at Mecum. We talked legendary Makos, supercross victories, and the bikes that helped shape racing history. Standing above it all, an undebatable star of the show, the legendary Honda CB 750 prototype, a motorcycle that changed the world and remains one of the most important machines built in that era. There may be motorcycles at every Mecum auction, but it's the energy, the passion, and the history that truly makes the Las Vegas Motorcycle Auction the place to be.
Can I just tell you how proud I am of Johnny Lewis? And it's like a big sis proud moment because I got to see him come up through the ranks at 16 years old. He came into KTM, he came into racing supermoto, and I was working there. And so I took on the role of the big sister for Johnny Lewis, and we traveled together doing the circuits. And to be able to see him grow from a racer, he runs Moto Anatomy, coaches, and now moving into a broadcast career. It was so much fun in Vegas to have him on the panel with us talking about motorcycles. And there were so many conversations that we had that I was just like, oh my gosh, I love this. This is so much fun. And I think I got a little bit distracted at one point during our shows, which was funny to me, but it was such a good time in Vegas. And he covered a couple of the bikes that were the big rollers as well that you were excited to give the prices for.
Yeah, you know, the high sellers at auction, Laurette, continue to climb. We continue to see growth in that motorcycle segment. The collectors are coming out. They're coming to Mecum. And it's not just the collectors that are coming out in terms of who's coming to these events. We're seeing top builders, we're seeing the customizers. We've interviewed them over the last couple of years at this event, specifically highlighting how a lot of the customizers out there are coming to the Mecum auction for inspiration, to see the heritage. I know we talked about that as part of the morning show with John there as well, about how that's an important part. It's not just the buying and selling the motorcycles, but it's the inspiration. It's the digging into the history and heritage. And I think we had so much of that, particularly with our high sellers. We had that Honda CB750 prototype selling for over $300,000. And it was so cool. Also, our producer Alyssa is a big motorcycle enthusiast like yourself. It was neat to really hear from her about why that motorcycle in particular really was so notable, opening up the world of, affordable, performance-oriented Japanese motorcycles, kind of pushing out some of the British competitors. But I love the color. I know that it doesn't add a lot to the value, but it was super cool.
Yep.
And I know Johnny also dug into that. And then also the other high seller that we had, they're also clearing that 300,000 mark, was that Honda RC 174, that George Beale replica. Yep. And Laurette, remind us a little bit about what was the significance of that?
Hand built. It was hand built. So George Beale was given the blueprints of this bike from Honda, which is unheard of. So every component on this bike was hand built and then raced. And so very, very rare, incredible to see it in person. And again, like you said, to have the price go $330,000 was just a really high mark of Las Vegas.
It really was. And if you missed it, I know you can catch some of the re-airs of the broadcast. But of course, make plans now. We will be back already in a year. And of course, that's not the only spot to find motorcycles crossing the block. We have a really healthy assortment here in Glendale. Sure. Nearly at every Mecum event, we've got some motorcycles. Of course, it just kind of, the Las Vegas one is motorcycle centric. But of course, if you're into two wheels, come out to every auction. You'll likely find something that catches your eye.
Yeah, absolutely. And, Matt, I love how enthusiastic and all in you are on motorcycles. Your car knowledge is second to none. And you are a true enthusiast. You're a car purist. And you are all in for motorcycles. And so I just wanted to address your ability to jump in and talk about motorcycles and be so excited about that and learn more about that when we get from Vegas, from one desert to Glendale, another desert. You get to talk about cars, and there's been a lot of traveling that we've been doing for that too.
Yeah, there is, Laurette. Mecum Auctions, we stay on the road, as we talked about earlier, hosting these massive live auction experiences around the country, almost in every month of the year. We are constantly on the road. But then, of course, myself, I stay even more active as I go out, represent the brand at other events, attending media functions and whatnot. And I'm so excited to see the evolution of my show On the Move. And there's so much to it. It's been years in the making, and there's some big things in the works. But for those that are unaware, here's a little tease of a recent On the Move episode.
I'm Matt Avery, and today I'm on the move in Southern California, checking out a remastered beach icon, the Manx. Join me as I travel the country, uncovering history, the cars, and the roads worth taking. I hit the biggest events and museums, dig into legendary collections, and always take the scenic route, because every mile has a story. The company was relaunched in 2020 with the magic happening here at their Costa Mesa headquarters, less than a mile from where Bruce Meyer's original vision was cast. They offer their remastered series, which is essentially a brand new buggy, and it all starts with an authentic, classic Volkswagen Beetle chassis. From there, new parts, components, and upgrades are installed, and then of course, the colorful fiberglass body is put on top. And it's not painted, it's gel coated. You can see here, this is that original Beetle's VIN number, which is carried over with the new buggy. The Meyers Manx Remastered isn't chasing the past, it carries Bruce Meyer's vision forward. Lightweight, innovative, a remastered beach icon 60 years in the making.
The Meyers Manx just captures that 1960s nostalgic beach vibes when you're sitting at the, at a beach hut.
Beach.
Yes, at the beach with the sand and the waves crashing and a drink in your hand and the
Yeah,
sun
those
is
are all things
coming
at
down.
beach. Yeah.
Thank you for clarifying that in case anyone was wondering. But that's what that captures. And it's so much fun that it's just really cruisy because, you know, it's a car at the California beach, right? But the Myers Manx, you do such a great job. And to be able to capture that energy on the move, there's some big news that's also coming down the wire for On the Move and where the show is going to.
Absolutely. So, Laurette, so this has been several years in the making, and I'm so excited to see it continue to expand.
Yeah.
And so the show that you saw that snippet of, there's a much longer episode currently out on Mecum's YouTube channel.
Right.
But a little bit of backstory about of how we got here. Or I
Okay.
should say it's kind of On the Move surface several years ago, and it first arrived in the form of a podcast. I did that. I co-hosted that along with our lead TV commentator, John Crayman. And we did that for several years. And I remember distinctly where I was when we were talking about getting this podcast off the ground and we needed a name. And I said, we're always on the road, on the move. Let's call it On the Move. And so John Crayman and I did it for several years. And so that was really another opportunity for us to connect with our fans and followers and listeners and keep them up to speed with both John's travels and myself, as well as, detail auction action and what was going on. And then as the podcast phased out and we shifted over to more of our digital content, On the Move still was around. That's the name of my column that I write with the Mecum Overdrive magazine. Okay. And so now it's going to be it's even getting bigger in the form of a dedicated show that I'll be hosting. You saw a snippet there, and their episodes are going to get longer. They're going to be more far-reaching. I'm going to be traveling farther.
Incredible.
And if people are wondering, Laurette, they're like, what's the purpose or what's the drive of On the Move? It allows us to showcase automotive culture beyond the auction block. And I think a lot of people, it's easy to overlook that Mecum Auctions is out in the mix from coast to coast, not just at our own events, but being a part of other big top tier automotive events. And there's a lot of other things going on that I want to go experience and bring back to our fans and followers and say, hey, here's what's going on. And likely you'll want to be a part of it too.
Yeah, I love it. And I love how open and authentic you are with your passion for the automotive industry and space. And you love talking about it and you want to share that with others. So I think that's really cool. And I'm also really excited for your show because you are moving to Roku and Amazon Prime Live.
So that is what we'll announce that today, Laura. I'm so excited. So now you can find On the Move on Mecum social channels, but then, like you said, also you can now find it on Mecum TV on Roku and then Amazon Prime Video Live. And as you saw there in that snippet, if you go to automotive, Mecum Auctions comes up near the top. It's really easy to find. But that's a great way to keep up to date with my travels. So if you want to find out more about the Myers Manx, like I said, that's a cut down. That's just a snippet of some of the stuff I've been. There's a lot of other things that are in the works, really exciting episodes. I'll tease one here because I know I've got a lot of interest about it. The automotive world was shook in Kissimmee with the sale of the 1969 Copo Yanko prototype Camaro. It ended up going to a big-time Camaro collector who's a friend of mine. I got access to his garage, and so I'm going to be detailing about where that car went since it's left the auction block and selling for over $1.8 million.
So wild.
So it's just, that's a tease. I'll be doing that from attending the events. I've got something really exciting that I've got working.
Can you give us a hint?
I'll give us a small portion. Is
Okay.
that later in next month, I'll be heading out to Moab to do some off-road stuff. But it just really showcases there's so much in store. So if you want to find out more, of course, head over to mecum.com and then be sure to keep an eye on the streaming channels as well. And then also, before we move on, just a little bit about that Myers Manx. A huge shout out to their team for allowing us access to come see what they're up to. As you said, that car is such an icon. It's a classic. It just brings about smiles. I mean, the whole time that Alyssa and I were there, like, it's just hard not to smile. When you see those cars, you see the craftsmanship, you see the colors. And the neat thing is, Laurette, is that those cars, we see them here at auction, and we've got a great one here that's going to be crossing the block later today. We were buzzing around earlier this week, and we slammed the brakes on the golf cart. We're like, hey, check that out. But it's super cool example. Love that sparkly metal flake. And I love those Krager SS wheels, but that is going to be crossing the block later today.
Yeah, well, we're moving from that really sweet, singular, sparkly Myers Manx to a really incredible collection that you were able to cover.
In the mid-1970s, an entirely new two-seat sports car hit the market, and it wasn't focused on performance, it focused on safety. The car was the Bricklin SV1, and here at Mecum Glendale, the Bricklin collection brings together 7 examples highlighting the full production story. The SV1 was the brainchild of Mecum Bricklin, and even the name says it all, standing for Safety Vehicle 1. And here's a quick look at what makes it so unique. Taking aim at competition like the Corvette, the SV1 was built from 1974 through 1975, with a very limited continuation into 1976, totaling just about 2,900 cars. Production took place in New Brunswick, Canada, and there's even a local connection here in Arizona. The company, the Bricklin Vehicle Corporation, was headquartered in nearby Scottsdale. Everything about this car centered on its mission. It featured a reinforced steel perimeter frame surrounding the passenger compartment. Along with these were seating, energy-absorbing bumpers designed to exceed federal standards. Even the gull-wing doors weren't just for looks. They lift upwards instead of swinging out, which helps in tight spaces and keeps the door clear of traffic. They're powered by an electro-hydraulic system, so operation is as simple as pushing a button. The body is unique as well. It's made from acrylic reinforced with fiberglass, with the color molded directly into the material, so these cars were never painted. Bricklin claimed the panels were stronger than traditional materials, and minor scratches could be sanded and buffed out. When it came to power, early cars were equipped with an AMC's V8 paired to either a 4-speed manual or an automatic. By 1975, the Ford 351 cubic inch Windsor was standard, paired to an automatic transmission, continuing into the limited 1976 models. This collection, all selling at no reserve, has been carefully curated and features low-mile examples from all 3 years, the lowest being a 1976 car showing just 80 miles. It was a bold swing at something different. That's exactly what makes the Bricklin SV1 one of the more fascinating sports safety cars of the 1970s.
So Matt, I haven't heard or seen of this collection before. I feel like for me it would be there's a definite alignment with the Back to the Future DeLorean. Do you agree with that? You have a backstory. You have some information on that,
there's a little
right?
bit of a backstory, yeah.
Okay.
So I get asked this question a lot in terms of what's the story. You know, people recognize this car. They think it's connected or a part of the DMC-12.
Okay.
So that would be the DeLorean, the vehicle by DeLorean that everyone knows from Back to the Future.
Right.
And what's kind of fascinating, Laurette, is we were talking on air or off air a little bit about gull-wing doors as a design choice. And I will say I got a little bit of insider information because Mecum Bricklin, the gentleman behind this car company, was a guest at Mecum Kissimmee, and I had him up on the Midway stage for an interview specifically about this vehicle program, the SV1. And I asked him about the gull-wing doors because, again, you know, people see this car, it's got similar aesthetics to the DMC-12. Two-door, you know, similar silhouette, but those like kind of gull-wing doors. So a brief overview, gull-wing doors are not exclusive to the DMC-12. Other automakers have used them throughout the years. It's a very bold design choice. Mecum chose it specifically for his car for safety. In his mind, it was the idea that as opposed to opening up a vehicle in the way of traffic or a bike lane, it got it up out of the way, as well as also in a tight parking spot. It has a lot less clearance. I also do think Mecum is a very imaginative guy, and I think it's a surefire way to have your car stand out.
Yeah.
But the other fascinating thing, Laurette, about the SV1 is it predates the DMC-12 by several years. And I did ask Mecum about that on stage, and I said, hey, when John DeLorean was coming out with his DMC-12, was he aware of the doors? And Mecum did say that John was a contemporary and friend, and he did call Mecum or reached out and asked, not necessarily for permission, but just said, hey, I'm going to, you know, those gull-wing doors are pretty cool. I'm going to include them in my car. And according to Malcolm, he gave him his blessing to include him on the Back to the Future car. But
okay.
this is a fascinating collection. Laurette, I've
Yeah.
never seen this many in person. To have 7 on site coming out of long-term storage. And while we were out there, Laurette, we had so many people coming over just because it's one of those cars that it's era correct.
Sure.
I mean, even with the colors, just those oranges and burnt browns and white, it's kind of neat.
Yeah, I apologize because I think I missed. How long were the cars in storage for?
So they've been stored for since I think the early 2000s,
Okay.
coming out of a single collection, and then of course being here. And yeah, so the Bricklin collection selling here at No Reserve, and I'm excited to see where they go off to. There is a pretty passionate fan base for these cars, and so like I said, I'm excited to see them go kind of into the hands of some new collectors and on to new journeys.
And do we know when they are going to cross the block?
So they'll be selling tomorrow on Friday.
Fun.
On Friday,
Yeah.
so
Be watching for that then.
we will. So, all right. Well, let's wrap things up, Laurette, with comments as we close out our show, because we love seeing where people are watching from. That's one of the things that we enjoy. So wherever
Do
you're
you
watching
think that they're
from,
watching from Ohio? Maybe they're watching from Ohio, where the Advantage lifts are from.
yeah,
You could see that.
Advantage Lifts. Well, I had a chance to check out Advantage Lifts and see where those lifts are being assembled.
So David, the sparks are flying behind us. We're here at the facility in Ohio where Backyard Buddy and Advantage lifts are being produced. What are some of the elements and highlights of this one behind us?
Our primary locks have an 1.25 inch pin. This is really heavy duty steel. Here we have a secondary lock. These locks will drop into these holes and stop that lift from ever falling down. So that quality, safety, strength, that safety is a really key component for us.
These cables look pretty secure. What am I looking at here?
So this is our double pulley end of our powered runway. Again, these are machined from a solid piece of steel. And then our cables here, again, 5 times rated capacity. These things will hold 26,000 pounds. Each cable is capable of. So another thing, Matt, I really wanted to show you on these lifts, that really set us apart. We have this fully boxed in frame. The other piece that we're adding here are these ribs. And it's a really heavy duty quality piece of material. We form it here, we cut it here, we weld it here, and we make it all here right in the US.
A lot of thought went into these, and that extends even to the posts on the outside.
Yeah, so this steel is 1/4 inch thick wall, heavy duty steel, and our foot pads here is 5/8 thick steel. All of the weight for your entire lift is transferring from these runways to the cross members, down to the legs, all the way to this foot pad. Another kind of key component that we have here is this outside slider. This is something that's, again, something we are more known for in the industry. So there's no chance for this to kind of wiggle or move. So another thing that really sets us apart are these automatic wheel stops. So you see that they automatically flop back in position. Your car cannot roll back and come off this lift. This is gonna stop.
It's a premium product and it's made right here in Ohio.
Yeah, our team does an amazing job. And it's not about just what you put on the lift, but that you feel safe walking underneath that lift.
What strikes me about the piece that you and Alyssa put together is not only the quality, but the pride that they have from that product that's made in Ohio.
Yeah, assembled in Ohio, and it was really exciting to go out there and see it. We've been so excited to have Backyard Buddy, Advantage Lifts, and Real Garage Life be a part of the Mecum auction experience. They're joining us here in at the State Farm Stadium. So if you want to see those up close, you can see the quality that goes into it. You can see all the features. And it was really neat just from spotlighting them here at auction to chatting with their team and then finding out that they were located there in Ohio, one of their assembly locations. And so Alyssa and I headed out there, and it was really neat to see just that good old fashioned welding and the metal, and
Yeah.
it was exactly what I had in my head, Laurette, in terms of just what was going on there. To see these big, thick plates of steel, and then to see their team of welders and assembly workers just fashion those together into the products that you see here. And then also too, Laurette, in my travels, I'm seeing these lifts in collections around the country. So they are being sought out by collectors for the quality and for those features.
Yep. Quality will find the collectors and find everybody that wants the highest possible product.
Yeah, and if you want to find out more about Real Garage Life and, of course, the Backyard Buddy and the other hosts of products they offer, you can chat with their team here. They're on site, and then you can also find out more at their website as well. No, so we will wrap up now, Laurette. Man, it's been a show.
It's been great. Yeah, you've teased me about the beach, and do I know my location there? That's a good
Yeah,
thing.
you named a lot of things that are at a beach, which is great. And we covered that Nashville hot
Rascal.
chicken.
Yeah, Nashville hot chicken.
Or
What when in Nashville?
Order the Nashville hot chicken. But we've had so much fun. It's been great. And we've got 2 more shows here in Arizona. I have a feeling they're going to get wilder, so you're going to want to be a part of them. And of course, wherever you're watching from, drop us a comment. We do love seeing where our viewers are tuning in from all around the country, all around the world. So much is in store. Thanks, of course, as always, for joining us for the live auction pre-show. The auction will be starting soon, and we'll see you here tomorrow for more Mecum in the Morning.